Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Western Clash, as we have a 1-1 situation now in this best of 5 to determine who is eliminated down in the lower bracket. To my left-hand side, Gilly, Grubby, and Dread once again. And Team Liquid, it looks like somebody kicked them in the balls at this point going into game number 2 because they looked angry.
Sometimes that's just what you need.
Apparently.
Don't try it on me.
No? Oh, okay.
Proverbially.
Okay, I'll not. But they did look very, very fearsome in that game.
They did, and I think it all came down to the draft. A lot of it was just the fact that they had such a huge advantage when it came to understanding the fact it was probably a Tracer. They removed a lot of the other hyper carries. They decentralized it with the variant pickup. Just across the board, I feel like that was great drafting, but then the execution there was behind it.
I would say it is generally not a good idea when you don't have heroic abilities and your opponents are close not to be out when there is a possibility of taunt and cursed bullet.
Yes.
But Gale Force were kind of fraught with issues from the beginning. They were hoping that they could delay the first temple phase. They were up at the temple. Tracer took too much poison damage. She had to go back. Then this happens. They made a brilliant call to try to contest the boss. I thought that that was a stellar call. They had a great flank with Zul as well. Just didn't quite work out for them. And then they knew they needed to do that because they were starting to fall behind. But then after that, it's a risk versus reward, right? You're either going to get back into the game with it, or you're going to fall even further behind. And unfortunately for them, it was the latter.
Time to check out some of the highlights from that game that good old Dready Naughty has picked out.
The boss fight was neat, but I actually wanted to highlight what was really the breaking point of this game is before it got completely out of control. Gale Force is trying to force and panic, and I like the fact that they flanked, but they forced way too hard. Tracer, again, missing the pulse bomb. Zul goes in with a Poison Nova, but it only lands on top of 2. And I mean, it's Zul. You're a walking Poison Nova when it comes to the team fights for the most part. Akka does his best to keep everybody alive. One drag in. He has a cheeky teleport directly after, but Nerok's there always to be able to seal the deal. And after this point, it's the 16 talent tiers, and things are just irrecoverable for Gale Force eSports. But yeah. I liked that they at least tried to force a fight on the even talent tiers as their opponent, and then also trying to abuse the fact that we see a lot of Thornwood Vine out of EU, and that is a case in that composition where if you get the flank, you might actually be able to kill her, right? And try and abuse the fact she has 0 mobility and is so squishy.
Yeah.
Grubby,
I mean, to be honest, I think the Poison Nova did pretty great there. It hit like, I think it did hit like 4 targets. You saw Lunara, and I think it was Greymane. They dropped to 10% life, and they just had to rotate out of the fight. In the end, we look at the draft, we're like, yeah, Team Liquid expertly countered the draft of Gale Force, but with the execution, I truly do believe it could have been there for Gale Force. If Tracer saves her pulse rounds until later and waits till everyone has been poisoned to within an inch of their life, then goes in. But the problem was the staying power wasn't quite there. And Uberak immediately gets chunked down to very little health, and the pressure is there. I just feel like Gale Force is not executing as well as they were yesterday.
Well, Team Liquid's map pick here, as obviously Gale Force picked first pick going into this, is going to be an Infernal Shrines, a good old EU special, but you know, Gale Force is no stranger to it either as we go into the draft now for game number 3 here between the teams. 1-1 currently in this best of 5.
As you said, Kylaris, Gale Force eSports does enjoy playing on Infernal Shrines. Of our top NA teams, they're not the one that shies away from this battleground, so it's not like it is out of the question for them. I am still wondering if Team Liquid at some point will go to Dragonshire, or even if they are aware that Gale Force generally always bans this map. But for now, we have Infernal Shrines, and not wanting to deal with the Team Liquid special, the double support, especially with the Ariel. The Ariel is the most important part. They're going to ban her and continue that trend.
Can I just say that this reminds me so much of BlizzCon 2015, where Cloud9, the winning team, was like, oh yeah, let's just ban Tyrael every single game. Like, Europe is too good at this one, they're doing too much with it.
Yeah.
Exact same thing here. Just Ariel ban every single game.
Does that mean in 2018 it'll be Malthael ban every single game, just kill the Angels?
Okay, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That is 100% correct.
Thank you. I'm a time traveler.
Nice.
If we are to cross-compare, the difference between the two is that when we did see that SC9 in the Grand Finals, Europe had pretty much a one-trick composition that was dominating that entire tournament, and Tyrael was at the core of it. Ariel has about 5 to 6 different extremely powerful compositions, so removing just the Ariel is not nearly as crippling as it was in that tournament. High Uther because of the Ariel ban, no surprise, this has been international meta a lot more than it has been the North American, but it still continues to show that Gale Force is mixing things up here at the Western Clash to best their chances.
This is another possible Zul battleground for Gale Force. However, it's kind of been mixed results so far with the Zul. So I'm wondering if maybe we'll see Michael Udall go back to something a little beefier for this. We don't play as much of the Leoric going back and forth with his Royal Focus, but in this case that's still a possibility, especially now with Dahaka being taken away from Michael Udall. It is one of his highest played heroes, Dahaka, along with something like an Arthas. So maybe an Arthas is another possibility. He is a nice pick as well to go for the shrines and try to sit on top of the shrines and be a dominating force there.
Big question will be whether Gale Force continues with the Bloomby removal, the Bloomby isolation. Taking a Nubrak again would show that they are sticking to their guns in that sense. Could be a Nubarak Arthas even, if they want to snag 2 of the high prior warriors.
It is convenient for them that if that's the route that they want to move, that they are sitting next to the secondary ban phase to where they didn't even have to pick the Anub unless they really wanted it for their comp. They could wait and pick a higher priority warrior and then ban it into their secondary. But by taking it there, you free it up. And I mean, it's not like Anubarak's a poor pick at almost any slot currently in the meta.
They also have to be aware that Team Liquid might still go into Vikings. So it looks like they're picking Illidan as one of the strongest pushers against Vikings. Not only does Illidan deny Vikings to safely soak XP, he also pushes like a beast against fortifications, and he can even pick up Viking kills deep behind enemy forts, thanks to that evasion. So this is kind of a forestalling of that, kind of preventing Team Liquid to go lightly on the Viking pickup in that 5th slot potentially.
My question is if there's any chance that a Sonya shows up. I don't think it would be the case, and if so, it'd only be as Liquid as an attempt to be able to deal with the Illidan. It works well on Infernal Shrines, which is why it kind of comes to mind, but we'll have to see if they move into it.
If they do that, they would have a triple warrior.
Yeah.
Or leap engage, which is not as likely because you want Wrath against all the stuns on side of Gale Force. Wrath reducing the stun duration of things. It could be triple warrior.
The eyebrow raised from Darkmock as Arthas is banned. How much does Team Liquid play Arthas? It's not immediately calling out to me as a Team Liquid choice. But maybe in this instance just trying to continue to be limiting toward Blumby.
Yeah, that and hoping that they don't have to deal with an Arthas against Illidan.
Or Illidan, that's true as well. Just in case if they aren't sure.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling Johanna Cassia here. You get 2 sets of blinds. I feel like Johanna is one of Bloomby's better warriors. He's clearly being targeted a bit with this Anubarak. You can go Muradin, but he lacks a little bit of sway on the shrine. Johanna has that. You combine that with the Cassia blinds, you have double blinds.
What about Diablo, though?
It's not going to be that.
A warrior that for a while was only played on Infernal Shrines, and I am pumped to see this one. You can do sort of the same thing that you would with Varian as well. Instead of a taunt into a Cursed Bullet, you can overpower someone right into it.
Slightly harder to hit, but these pros, they don't mess around. They understand how the victim is going to get moved when Diablo hits them into the wall. There's no Tassadar available. Medivh is an option. Against Greymane Diablo, Medivh has to remain a valid option. Though he lacks wave clear.
I like how often Team Liquid still just leaves the potential of Vikings as a thing. Like, it doesn't even have to happen here, but almost always in their drafts, do they just leave that little potential?
Yeah, all the roles are already covered. Off-tank, tank, support, and assassin.
Man, that looks so much like a Roll20 draft. It's crazy to see the name Team Liquid beside it. Oh, Akaface playing Stukov.
I was going to suggest a double support for Gale Force in this game, and I don't mind that that's the direction they're going, but I thought it might have been with like possible Brightwing instead to be able to deal with any kind of global pressure if the Illidan with the potential Vikings coming out is too big of a problem. Those two together can stop the bleeding, synergizes with the Illidan really well. I really like that they are going that direction, but instead it's the Stukov. The utility isn't necessarily better, but it's a very different form of it.
One thing I would have brought up, having not seen the Stukov, would have been, is there a potential for a Lunara? But now looking at how much healing is there on the other side with Stukov.
I personally feel like with the prioritization we've seen out of Gale Force now these few games in a row is that very much that they aren't comfortable going into the Lunara. Vala will be the fans' go-to left and right throughout this tournament, whether that's for better or for worse. I think we'll find out as it goes forward because it is still a surprisingly high prioritization.
I wonder if Stukov will be played by Akaface, or if I know he really likes playing him. I just wonder who it will be. They're still going to get Lunara, though.
So I just want to point out that Gale Force has 2 types of Giant Killer. Illidan's level 16, which is a little unusual usually to take because it's not fitting with how Illidan should play. Vala can take Manticore at 16. It's probably going to be the choice, but it all comes a little late. They don't have level 13 Giant Killer. They don't have level 10 Giant Killer like a Karazim with 7-sided. There's no Leoric. Diablo is going to be really tough to kill. You've got double support, a melee assassin who's mostly worried always about staying alive after the initial hunt, and then Vala doesn't kick into gear until level 16 with that. And whenever she can auto-attack Diablo, she's also a target to Shadow Charge. So I feel like Diablo, if played well, can run absolutely rampant here.
How does the Lunara fare? I mean, I expressed my concerns about it, but and also predictions going into this game.
On the Lunara question, she'll look good post 7. She's going to struggle like at the 16 mark when do the double support pretty heavily. I'm actually sold for Gale Force in this game with that draft. The double supporting is pretty solid in response to what we saw out of them last game. I think really the only way I see them really struggling is if they just get out-rotated heavily. On a map like Inferno, it's totally possible, and EU has its own style that they might struggle with.
Well, you've done well so far, 2 for 2. Gilly?
I'm just going to keep going opposite of Dread and say Team Liquid here. I like Diablo a lot on this Battleground specifically. I think they have a lot of good shrine control as well.
And Grubby?
A lot of power picks for Gale Force. I think it will be a close game, but I'm leaning towards Team Liquid here. That Diablo, I think, is a big threat.
All right, thank you very much. As we now head over to game number 3. 1-1 currently here in this best of 5. Let's head over to Skimmy and Kaldor for all the action.
Well, the crowd is already going wild here as we're waiting for game number 3. The series is tied, and again, a very aggressive draft on the side of Gale Force.
I've been waiting all weekend long for Blomby to play this Diablo. Finally, I get to see it on Infernal Shrines.
It's going to be a wild one, especially since we once again have Illidan on the side of the North American team.
Here we go, introducing Gale Force eSports. Fan once again on his loved Vala. It's K1 Pro playing Stukov, Michael Udal on Illidan, Akaface on Ufa, and King Caffeine on Anubrak.
And to the right side of the map it is. And Norok on the Haka, Hazovs on a Greymane, Blumby on Diablo. We see Lunara played by Dartmore and Splendor on Rega for Team Liquid.
Devil's Due, we talked about it so much, how well it can actually become a factor on this map with the rotations the analysts were talking about. So much regeneration, really sort of denying the amount of resources that they need to take away from Splendor.
Yeah, and when we're talking about the talents as well, on level 1 already we're seeing the Lightning Bond taken for the dog, so we are going to see that extra clear on those shrines. And especially when we're looking towards Stukov, of course, it is all about the lurking arm here. It's the best map for the hero, and I'm really curious to see how much of an impact Stukov will have played here by K1 Pro.
Both teams have great control when it comes to the shrines. This is going to come down to a matter of execution, and Team Liquid were not messing around in game number 2 on Sky Temple.
Yeah, there's a lot of comfort picks for Gale Force as well that we have already seen on Cursed Hollow, the first map. Udal again on Illidan, Fan once more on Vala. So this is going to be interesting how Team Liquid will deal with it this time.
Rotations and rotations is the name of the game for this one as Gale Force look to go through the mid lane. We're talking about the impact that Darkmock can have on Lunara, such a scary hero and becoming a bit of a staple, especially in the European region.
There's a really nice trap by Hazovs. They're trying to bait Michael a little bit. And here comes Hazu going in deep. That drag does not connect. Doesn't get the drag in. No kill against Illidan. But that was a very well-prepared rotation on the side of Team Liquid. We saw Greymane actually sneaking in behind the gate and then an attempted bait by the Haka that Illidan didn't fall for. And then Hazu snuck into the middle and was trying a different approach. But this time they do not get the kill. And that was an important attempt. And also a lot of resources committed.
Absolutely, yeah. They're going to be punished as a result of that one. But the shrine will be spawning in that top side of the map. And as you can see, Greymane still hanging outside of vision. Whether or not Michael Udal is aware of this.
Now, one of the things that I have to say with the gank that we saw that did not end up in the kill against Illidan, as we see it happen again, and this time it looks like Udal might be in trouble. But either way, he's really low. Even if you don't get the kill, you turn it into a winning matchup on the top lane since he has to tap early. Udal healed up by the power of the double support now, so they can join for the fight. But Liquid already shows that early on they are trying to be aggressive again and to pick up kills.
Yeah, you can see Nurok already going for that rotation, going to utilize the global effect that they have on this map. And you can see when it comes to sustaining element, Rhaegar can just not deal with what K1 Pro can output there on that Stukov. Going to be insane momentum. Not to mention Blumby wants as many stacks as possible to become the biggest tank he can be.
And here we go once again with a slam with the overpower. K1 Pro is low, but so is Diablo. Blumby is moving in again, but he dies first. And it is Gale Force who turns out to be victorious in his first fight up at the top lane.
Biting off far more than they can chew as King Caffeine dives straight back into the back line, looking for the kill, getting the double kill.
Gale Force having the double kill and therefore the lead on the Shrine. They can now move in for the first Punisher. And Team Liquid's coordination just not on point here. Trying to move in with the Tahaka for the flank, but Diablo gets turned on. And that turn against Team Liquid extremely fast.
Nurok not phased one bit as he carries on soaking, bouncing between lanes, emulating what we saw on the Sky Temple map. And generally speaking, with this initial Punisher, you don't get too much value. You can take down the initial wall leading into the fort, but if a kill comes across, suddenly a different story.
I'm really a bit worried about these Illidan and Valla combinations with the double supports that we're seeing on the side of Gale Force. Team Liquid didn't respect those two carries enough to ban them out. Now they have to deal with it. And at this point, they're struggling slightly. But it is an early Punisher. They scale into the late game, but early on, they usually don't pack that much of a punch. So currently, Dehaka and Rhaegar are trying to soak experience at bot and mid lane. And up at the top, we're seeing a 3-man defense.
Absolutely going to nullify this one. That's why you can see the XP bar still even, Stevens. But the jump comes across, looking for Blumby.
Yeah, and I'm actually lying. It's 2-man with the defense here. We have 2 pushing through the middle. Rhaegar even moving down now to help Dehaka out. They are willing to sacrifice a fort here.
Could be a winning trade depending on how they play their cards, right? Looking to try and push through mid, go down to bot lane. Hazuops is there looking even for the counter invade.
It's really the structural point that might be a bit of a concern, but as you can see down here, Udal is having a lot of trouble dealing with Rhaegar and Dehaka, as camps are now at the same time taken by Hazuops. So Liquid is getting a lot out of this, but the rotation is on the way.
Rotation is there. Arcaface starts things off with the stun. Michael Udal looking for the chase, but Hazuops runs left. The rest of Team Liquid run right, and he's conceding death.
Yeah, Hazuops already knows that he won't get out of this one. So this is Gale Force picking up a 3rd kill. Liquid still on the same amount of experience here though. And with the talents, we now have also the Guardian of Ancient Kings already taken. As expected, Stukov, after heading into Growing Infestation on level 1, has now picked up the Within My Reach on 7, going for that synergy with the Lurking Arm.
3 kills right now for Gale Force eSports. The crowd are getting so amped in for this one. NA versus EU, 1 apiece in the best of 5.
Yeah, this game is going to be so important. Keep in mind what happened when Liquid faced off against Freedom. They lost the first, won the second, lost again in the 3rd game, and then won 2 in a row. So they were always behind, and they find themselves in a very similar situation. But of course, they would love to this time take the lead. But right now, Gale Force is looking solid.
The gauntlet for Team Liquid as they take down Tempo Storm, Team Freedom now. Gale Force in their sights, wanting to make it 3 apiece as Michael Udal does clear things out. The rotation is coming from Team Liquid, looking to put the gank on that solo lane.
Blumby, on the other hand, also in trouble here. Gale Force with a kill. Diablo is down. Did not have full stacks on the souls yet, so he will be back in 17 seconds. And he will be just back in time for the Shrine that is now activating. But the big problem looms on the horizon. It's the level 10 ability of Gale Force eSports. Liquid far behind in XP.
Yeah, Michael Udal is going to peel off and take away that Shaman Cam, get some split push pressure. Shouldn't be too much of a problem as Nurok will quite easily be able to clear that one out. But with the kill onto Blumby in the mid lane there, they can get the jump with the ultimates on the Shrine.
Yeah, this is starting to become extremely rough for Liquid. They will not be able to contest the Punisher here. They have to let it go. The big question is, how much value can they get up at the top where they are now trying to push heavily? Already Anubarak is starting to rotate over, and Mike Udal, with his hunted into the Shrine, is now taking care of the Punisher, and thanks to the cooldown reduction, he wants to join up at the top. But already, Cocoon being used as Caffeine is looking for a fight.
He's looking for the Impale. The Barrow Charge comes out first. The Lurking Arm is there. There's nothing he can do. Rhaegar drops.
It's exactly the one target that they could not go for. 10 is there, but it is half a second too late. And Gale Force with 5 kills against 0, a level lead and a Punisher about to be taken by them. Gale Force is currently dominating this early game of the match.
Back down to the bot lane, looking to pick this one up, looking to try and find some value. And I think this, Caldo, is the very first time we've seen Shove.
Yeah, actually, normally we are not seeing this talent taken at all, but right now, K1 Pro going for it right away. I can't wait to see how much of an impact he has with this, especially, of course, against someone like Dehaka or even Diablo.
Yeah, looking to potentially peel away Illidan in a different kind of manner as the siege begins in mid lane. Punisher in the bot lane. It is a mortar Punisher, arguably one of the weakest one. Blumby has other ideas, wants to jump in through mid, gets the lightning bond, but decides to peel off.
Yeah, Gale Force is just trying to maximize the damage that they can push out now. And the Hunt goes in, the heal, the Ancestral. Illidan, is he going to get punished? He dove in deep, but Cocoon is out. Apocalypse, they're stunned, but the shove pushes Blumby back. Great play by K1 Pro on Stukov.
The shove is so good, but the kill on Darkerface even better as suddenly Team Liquid have a little bit of momentum, trying to chase on down. Blumby's got the range, looking for the second. Hazuops is jumping in, pouncing Wolfwards. Can he go for the swipe? Swiper, no swiping. Michael Udall gets out, but the poison is still there.
Oh, Mike Udall taps the fountain and survives. Rhaegar dies as Team Liquid, the European team, diving in too deep, overextending and losing. But look at Blumby, he falls, but so does Nubarak. It's a 1-for-1 trade as we are seeing Gale Force chased hard. The problem is that Nurok is also falling. Gale Force is picking up 3 heroes. A 1-for-3 trade here.
The patience, just the absolute calmness in that situation where Team Liquid think they have the advantage, have the momentum, look for the advantageous trade, but Gale Force on a dime, flip the switch and go for the triple.
I really like what K1 Pro did here with the shove, by the way. That was absolutely fantastic. As we see Diablo engage and try to go for the kill, getting the APOC comp off, he immediately is present and pushes the tank back. That helps them out. Uther falls later on, but they are managing the retreat, and then they can even manage a turnaround, as Illidan just didn't die. Udall was able to go back to the fountain, tap, and then join the fight. So it was well played by Gale Force, really well coordinated, and a nice turnaround for them.
Back and forth we go in this series. Level 13 in favor of Gale Force. A 2-level lead soon to become a problem right now for Team Liquid. 8 kills to 2. The structural advantage really working in their favor as well. Not a single fault counter was being picked up by TL.
This is definitely a problem for them from a structural point of view. But if they at any point gain a bit momentum, they will be able to pick up that experience. And this is going to help them. Already, the arm being a bit of a problem. Apocalypse, Hunt comes in as Lunara is being attacked, but the Ancestral comes through. Splendor with the old Nurok low, but he is back to full health using his own adaptation here. And they are trying to look to see if they can maybe get a kill against Vala.
They're looking for Vala. Oh, the cleanses are just so on point from both supports right now. But the damage! The cocktail is even better. They snipe one target, they get Illidan, but the healing pathogen doing so much work.
K1 Pro, get the hell out of here. And just shoves Nurok away. Nurok out of the fight. And Gale Force turns again. They go for Nurok. Can they get the kill? They don't. And Uther falls. Oh my god, what a fight.
What an absolute slugfest. Team Liquid once again just toying with death so damn low, but they get out of harm's way. Gale Force are the ones punished.
And I am loving the way that K1 Pro is currently using that shove. In the fight, as they're getting chased, he turns around, pushes Nurok back, and that is the moment when the entire team says, all right, now we have a chance. Turn around and kill them. Liquid survives, but it is such a close call. The big thing for Liquid, though, is with the kills that they were just able to pick up, they are now level 13. They have the talent. Gale Force is still ahead in experience, but Liquid has now a very good shot at grabbing a Punisher. And you were talking about the structures. Yeah. There's so many forts available now, but if Liquid can take a few of them down, they will start to close that gap.
100% as they look to go for this one. 28 picked out. Out of the 40 required, this is the first time they've been able to actually put up a bit of a pressure for it. Shove comes out and then instantly they go for the collapse as the Hunt comes across into Darkmock.
Nice cleanse on the other hand. Really well done here by Splinter. Both supports playing incredible this game. Here comes the drag against the Nubarak. The Divine Shield comes out. Blumby with the APOC. He might fall here though, and indeed he does. He had the soul stacks, but it might be the end of Splinter as well, and this is Gale Force just hunting them down.
Oh, the Ancestral so well timed as he does fall to the ground. He gets the heal across, but the lurking arm is there. The silence is coming across. There's nothing right now that Nurok can do. Very last second he gets the burrow, but he's still going to drop.
Another double kill, Gale Force. Oh, Blumby! The god on Diablo goes in and drops him behind the wall. The tower's helping out and Nubarak falling, but still Gale Force close to 16.
Yeah.
Bot lane on the other hand, the 4 fallen here, but what a game. And again, I mean, I'm fanboying this kid hard right now, but these shoves on K1 Pro, I mean, he provides way more than only that. The silences that he had with the lurking arm and also the heals are incredible. But I love how he uses that ult to always create opportunities for his team.
Talking of opportunities as they went in with the shove, the cocoon to deny the kill on Diablo as Splendor. He had Ancestral available, he just could not use it, and it's an absolute slugfest. To say this game is explosive is an understatement.
Yeah, and to give you a bit of context here, when we talk about healing power, we have Uther at 20,000 heals right now, Splendor is on 27k, and Stukov is rocking solid 44,000 here, doubling the heal amount that Uther currently has in the game. And again, the shove. Look at that, just getting him out of there, trying to see if they can maybe make an opportunity happen, if they can maybe get a kill, but this time Team Liquid is ready.
A late cleanse comes across as GFE look to back out of this one. Healing Pathogen once again bouncing around. Crazy times for them. Bloomby's gone in for the Shadow Charge, looking for the collapse.
Right now, this game is absolutely insane. The Divine Shield once again coming in. The Fort is already down as an Immortal. The Punisher moves straight forward still. Liquid wants to see if he can get the kill against Fan, but he once again survives.
Looking for Arcaface. They get the drag target as well. They're looking for the Shadow Charge. Damn, so much damage, so much CC. They get the kill and they hit 16 as well.
Uther is down already, and at this point, the 16 talent is, of course, a huge help too. Here comes the APOC. They're going in, and Uberak, the puck is swift, the kill, the double. Stukov is down, and we have a triple as Illidan falls as well. 4 heroes in total taken down by Team Liquid as they claim the lead in XP, and Fan,
he's gonna die! He's running!
Oh my god!
He drops in the end, a full 5-man ace, and now Team Liquid have a very good shot at ending this game.
This is the momentum that we have been talking about. They move in, they go for the keep, and they are not stopping there. Uther alone won't have a chance to stop them. Team Liquid is moving for the core.
What does double sustain do when it can't sustain through all the CC in the world? They're going for it. The shield is already down 90% on that one, looking for the collapse.
They're going in for it. They want the win. They want the lead. Here comes Stukov. K1 Pro. Illidan is back to business, and Lunara falls.
One shot, one opportunity, one chance to win this game. 20% left on that core. It's still going down. It's falling, and it wins. Europe are up 2-1. Look at Hazuobs.
Team Liquid, they take it. They take the lead. A tough early game for them, but in the end, they are victorious against Gale Force. What a game on Infernal Shrines. Back and forth fights all game long. 12 kills to 10, and what a finish.
I am hyped. That was such an awesome game. Just every single time these teams went in for the collapse, min-maxing the opportunities. There's never a chance where it was saying we cannot get a kill. There's no possibility of us losing this game.
And Gale Force was looking so good in so many of these fights the entire game, opening up opportunities with Stukov, using the shot to just always creating a numeric advantage for them. And then we saw the engage through Illidan with the hunt, but Liquid, they kept their calm in the last few team fights. This is where they really came online, but it was a rough game for them. Gale Force brought them to the limit.
The CC really was there in the end. The lurking arm was such a nuisance for so long during that one for Team Liquid, but when you're being thrown around, there's literally nothing you can do with that.
I mean, this was absolutely crazy, especially when we saw Diablo with that kill against Anubarak at the right side, just seeing an opportunity. They were all on the run. All of them were just trying, please survive, please survive, please survive. And then Diablo comes back and goes, boys, I got this. Gets the kill, and that really helped them to close the gap to 16.
And this is why I love Bloomby so much. He's such a good Diablo player, especially on this map. But enough from us. Back to the analyst desk.
All right, one game away for Team Liquid, advancing on potentially here in the lower bracket as Gale Force eSports. They brought out a very interesting composition with some really cool dynamics in some of those team fights, but it was not enough. Dread, a little bit unfortunate there for Gale Force.
Yeah, I'll highlight it a little bit later, but Gale Force shot themselves in the foot in that game. They had a lot of amazing plays, and the team fights honestly were astounding. Some of the best, I would argue, we've had in all of the Western Clash, but the very final moments, they very much volunteered for, and you could see a lot of miscommunication.
Well, actually, we can go to those highlights
All right.
now.
First, I want to do the amazing fight. Right? This was amazing initiation right here with the pre-cleanse from Splendor, the ability to save here, the cocoon, and then suddenly Gale Force is like, oh, we're in a place we don't want to be. Blumby totally capitalizes, but then the massive shove comes in. Full panic here from Gale Force eSports, and they're going to be on full retreat.
Yeah, they retreat. They lose Face, but I love what happens next, how Gale Force are able to turn it back around.
Yeah, and it's all going to be about this massive shove in a couple of seconds that we're going to see coming out from K1 Pro, and then it'll be a attemptive turn for Gale Force eSports into this fight.
This was so sick. This was supposed to be 3 kills for Team Liquid. They chase all the way here. Suddenly you get that pushback and the turnaround with the massive shove and then the silence on Rhaegar. They get 1 kill and it goes on. Bloomy goes in again.
And Fan's about to pop off here. He realizes the situation. He's very comfortable moving forward. New Barak sacrificed himself for the good of the colony. And you can see he's like, oh, I want to get onto Darkmok. Just a little bit too far out of range, and eventually they catch themselves a nice Narok.
What I loved is how Massive Shove was used in these fights. Taking it in the first place is a low cooldown, but being able to utilize the armor that you get from it and push someone way far back. When the hard engage comes in from Diablo, you push him back, you have Cocoon as well, and then you have that isolation.
So here's the end. Gale Force eSports has 16 advantage. They want to fight this Punisher, but they are afraid to initiate. So much so that Blumby is like, well, maybe it's my turn to be able to make that happen. They don't rid of the Punisher. A noob takes so much damage. He just burrow charged as he got a Divine Shield. And then Fan, he's auto-attacking Darkmok, allowing them to get the 16. Every part of Gale Force eSports is like, are we in or are we out right now? And they just burnt every major cooldown. From that point on, now Face out of position because he was trying to save the Anubarak from before, and there is just not enough cross-healing or synergy at this point for Gale Force to succeed. Then they lose the Uther, and they're aggressing. They're relying on the massive shove that doesn't even come out, and then immediately Blumby goes, boys, have you done basic math here? Because you're down a member, and this is a free turn.
Yeah, the idea is good. You lose Uther, you attack, but Uther was already used. During that time, Team Liquid was completely pulling back, and there was basically no reason to fight. You have this fight on Team Liquid side, you won a 4v5, all right, it's a risk, I guess. Yeah. But if you lose, that's fine. You lose in front of your own keep is actually the riskiest place to take a voluntary fight as the defender.
Feels like it's very hard to get for as much value from Massive Shove on the side lanes here on Infernal Shrines as well, because you're always so close to walls, especially when it's a Diablo who's trying to push you into walls.
Yeah, definitely, and you could see that it wasn't the same effect once they actually started fighting on Shrines. They're at the end, getting that final Punisher, it wasn't the same. You want to use the time and push them all the way back so you have time to get the first kill, the initial kill in the fight. But on the Shrine, it just wasn't the same. He could get back in very quickly, and so they didn't have the same kind of isolation.
All right, we're about to find out which map we're going to be going on to as well for our next one, as all of these fly on in, and we've been going to Towers of Doom here.